David Eichel here with HawkeyeInsider.com, joined again by Sean Bach as we continue to kind of break down the new Iowa schedule that was released by the Big Ten today. Sean, let's keep this going. What's the biggest trap game where you look at the schedule and you say, you know what, this might catch some people off guard?
Yeah, so I mean, I know Dave, you're going to mention Purdue, and I think that's the one that everyone's been talking about ever since the original schedule was released, and now with the updated schedule. But I'm going to go with Minnesota. I think Minnesota has an interesting case. I do think Minnesota. I don't think they'll have the season that they had a year ago. Going into the Iowa game undefeated, I think. I mean, obviously Iowa plays them earlier in the season now, but I think just when you look at the offense, I mean, all the offensive line returns, that's a big plus. Tanner Morgan, arguably the nation's most efficient passer last year, comes back. But the problem with that is he doesn't have two of his top targets from a year ago in Tyler Johnson and Rashad Bateman. Obviously, Johnson went to the NFL after last year, and Bateman opted out for the season a couple of days ago. So you're not going to have those guys. You're going to have guys like Chris Autumn-Bell, Douglas, and then a couple other younger guys that are going to have to emerge. So, and also you look at the defense too, and there's some question marks there. Antoine Winfield's no longer there. One of their best defensive backs ended up getting drafted. And there's some question marks on the defensive end. So, but I mean, just when you look at the offense and just that explosiveness, I think Tanner Morgan's got the ability to make something happen even without those top guys. But I still think there's going to be some question marks with the defense. But I mean, honestly, I'm picking Minnesota as that sneaky trap game because I think that offense can really make up for some of the production that I lost.
Yeah, Sean, you know, something else too, I think that's worth noting that's important to that case too is Iowa's beaten Minnesota 5 straight times. So I think at this point, you know, the fan base and a team can perhaps get comfortable with being a team, no matter how good that team's anticipated of being that next season. And I certainly think that applies to Minnesota. But yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, I'm going to go with Purdue. And I think two obvious reasons, David Bell, Rondale Moore. I think those are the two of the most explosive wide receiver talents in college football. I think David Bell almost willed Purdue to a win against Iowa last year because of his big-time playmaking ability. And Rondale Moore, I think, is going to be on an absolute mission following, he got injured last season. I think he's going to come back with a vengeance. I think if they can get even average quarterback play, I think that they can be dangerous. George Karlaftis, I think, is an A.J. Epinesa hybrid. I think he's going to be a breakout national player this year, and he was tremendous last year, I thought. But like you mentioned, I think they're going to need to get their defense in order. And I think this is a big year for Jeff Brom. I really think that they need to start showing some sort of progress. They're recruiting a little bit better. But they got to keep that momentum up if they do want to win the Big Ten West. But yeah, I think the choice is Purdue here just because if Iowa can't figure out their secondary, remember Michael Ojemudia is gone, and they're going to need to find some safety production. I think Jack Kerner is going to be eligible. Kavon Merriweather, maybe a Dane Belton, but there's a lot of younger guys that are going to step up in that secondary and cover those guys. So that's definitely going to be the one I'm going to watch for. Again, full breakdown of Iowa's schedule and a lot more at HawkeyeInsider.com. So be sure to stay tuned.